Okay, guys, welcome. This is our team-wide Zoom. It is Tuesday, May the 3rd, 2016, and I'm Megan. I'm going to give some quick announcements, and then we're going to have a little talk with Charlene, our fearless leader, and then go over some Q&A. So the first thing I want to go over, we're not going to do points because it's the beginning of the month, and I think now that our teams have gotten so big and are so interconnected that a lot of the coach leaders have been posting periodically Success Club points, team volume, really focusing more on recognition because that's now what the fourth vital behavior. So we're not really going to mention Success Club points so much anymore, but we are going to focus on the main announcements, which are going to be challenge packs and the promotions going on for hitting Success Club in May. So the first thing, challenge packs. So we have the size challenge pack that's on promotion. It's a Shaun T month. So if you know who Shaun T is, he is your man this month. It is the size challenge pack, the size kickstart, I believe, the Insanity Max 30 challenge pack, and the Insanity Max 30 kickstart. So, you know, for those of you who started Insanity Max 30 back when it first came out, it was a really expensive program. I remember I bought it, and I just bought it by itself because I was already a coach. And I think like regularly priced was over $100 or something. And now it's literally $10 when you buy Shakeology. It's a huge deal. Same with size, with the regular challenge packs. It's a great way to, market that, kind of like what we do with 21 Day Fix. So those are the challenge packs deals. And then for hitting Success Club 5, there are multiple different rewards that we get from Beachbody. So the first is going to be a Success Club party. So this is if you're going to Summit this coming July. And if you hit Success Club 10 in this month in May and in June, you will be invited to the Success Club party. And me and Lindsay went last year, and it was a lot of fun. And this year, the theme is an 80s theme, which should be funny because I don't think we're going to do it. I don't think we're going to do it. I don't know. But anyway, we went and we got dressed up really nice, and it was fun. And we got pictures with the elites. And then leadership ladder. So this is some stuff that has to do with more 2-star diamond and above. So if you are a 2-star diamond or higher, for at least one bonus week, you get a reception at Summit. But that may or may not pertain to all of us. If you hit Success Club 5 in May, you're going to earn an exclusive invitation to a webcast, a personal development webcast that is hosted by one of the top business and personal success speakers in the world today, Brian Tracy.
Oh, nice.
Is he good? Has anybody heard of him?
Yes.
He's amazing?
Yes.
Oh gosh, yes. Read his books.
So he must be a good guy, because now if you hit at least 5, you will earn that webcast. I don't know when they're going to be playing the webcast or offering it, but that's the information that I have right now. And then also there's the Move Up in Line promotion, and this is this past month in April and in May. If you earn Success Club 10 or higher, Beachbody will match your Success Club points with Move Up the Line points, which is going to help to determine your ranking for the 2018 Success Club trip registration. So as you guys know, it's not, it's kind of like an earned trip now. It's not so much that just if you get on your phone or your computer quick enough and you register, you're in. It is something that has to be earned, and that they're basing that on points. Also, there's an exclusive workout with Shaun T at Summit. So I think a lot of us were worried because we didn't see any of the workouts with Shaun. I know I was. But it looks like if the top 350 Success Club point earners that are diamond and above, and the top 350 Success Club point earners that are ruby and below will receive admission to a workout with super trainer Shaun T at the Coaches Summit 2016. So he is going to be there. He is working out. So that's good news for those of us who are obsessed with him like me.
Oh, we know Meg is going to be like killing herself.
I don't know, man. Slim pickings these days.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That is a lot.
Nice.
That's a lot. And I think that's pretty much it for announcements. So I wanted to really quick introduce Cheryl Lynn. She is a diamond coach. She is now a certified licensed health coach.
Integrative nutrition.
Integrative nutrition. And she's going to really quick talk to us about mindset before we open up the Q&A. So go ahead, Cheryl Lynn, it's all you.
Okay. Any questions? Nicole? No, so like I didn't plan anything. I just literally stopped my graduation ceremony on my phone like 2 minutes ago. So anyway, but mindset. You know how we do a lot of personal development, and some do and some don't. It seems to be, for me, if we have to do the vital behaviors, I would rather do the personal development, and I would rather make sure I exercise every day and then eat like crap. However, there's other people who will leave the personal development as that last thing. You know, it's the end of the day and all heck has broke loose already and it doesn't get done. Or you just don't like reading. Or you just don't like listening to the audios or whatever. So the personal development is really a huge part of your mindset, and your mindset, it affects all of your business. Every aspect of business will start with mindset. How's your relationship with your spouse? This is going to be part of what's going on in your head, in your heart, in your soul, all these internal conversations that you can't shut off when you go to bed at night. These things all add up. So are we sleeping well? Okay, you think that maybe not getting enough rest is okay for you. It affects your business and your personal life, but it affects your business. How you feel about yourself, how you truly feel about yourself, it's affecting your business. And we tend to think that we don't carry these things over. We separate our person from our business. I make my posts, everything, how come people aren't responding? If you're going through a crappy period of life, the kids are all sick, which, we all know that's been happening to a lot of us lately. I've got one down today, which it's like not even normal in our house to be sick anymore. But, how we're approaching these things, you could be going like, oh my God, poor me. My children are sick. My husband and I had a fight. My pants are too tight. Woe is me. The world is going to end now because this is all horrible stuff. Or we can look at it with as much positive attitude that we possibly can, because there's always going to be something good in our days. And when we focus on the negative, that's what we're bringing in, is more and more negative. And people pick up on that, even in your posts. You might have like what you felt was the happiest post ever, but people, they're reading into it. You know what that's like. Sometimes you meet somebody and you're like, I'm not sure I really like them, and you don't know what it is, but there's just something. And that's what happens to us in our posts. People are like, I don't really get what she's putting out there. I don't resonate with that. And all of these things are really starting with our own mindset. Some ways to get past that is to really dig down deep and evaluate a lot of the stuff that's going on in there. Some of the issues we have now, and even our own clients, these things go back to when we were kids. Maybe your parents worked all the time and left you home alone a lot, and all you had around you was food, so you comforted yourself with food all the time. Maybe people were mean to you for some reason or another, and the only thing that made you feel good was that sugar, which gave you that little bit of happy feelings, and you kept going for the sugar. There's a lot that a lot of medical conditions actually. I've managed to pinpoint a few adult children of alcoholics. There is a lot of symptoms that people can have when that was what their life was growing up. And these all come back to our mindset, like right now. Even in school, there's school situations for our children. And when they have, you know, decent relationships with their teachers and their peers, things are okay. But sometimes, you know, those harsh words just that one time from a teacher can actually have an impact on you as an adult. Maybe you can't hold down a job because your mind is saying, I'm not good enough, because that's what you've heard all the time. No positive reinforcements as a child. And these are all things that affect our mindsets now, that have to do with our business, that have to do with how we treat our bodies, that have to do with even our level of success. Some people, they basically cut themselves off at the knees because they don't feel they deserve the success. And we all do. Everybody does. Everybody deserves to feel great. Everybody deserves, you know, as much happiness in this world as they will allow themselves, but they don't, because they're punishing themselves, because they're not worthy, they're not good enough. And these are messages, again, we could have gotten them from anywhere. So it's really important to not just dismiss that and just say, you know, wow, that's too bad, I can never hit Success Club. If somebody is like really seriously at SC4 every single month, repeatedly, there's, you know what to do. What is holding you back from hitting 5 and 6? Not that SC is the be-all and end-all of what we do here. I mean, that is just one of our markers, our milestones that we're looking for. And there is, you know, obviously we all know there's a lot of benefits from getting to the different levels and the different point systems and such. But I mean, that's just one thing that you can look at, that when you're stopping yourself just before the success, why is that? And this is all, you know, gremlins that we're holding on to, that are telling us things that, you know, we're listening to, we're not at peace within ourselves. And when it's affecting our business, maybe we're unhappy that we're not doing what we could be with Beachbody. And, you know, why is that? Because I think we have, like, anybody who is a coach is a true rock star. People are rocking out their transformations, they're making these changes, they're eating better, they're exercising, and then all of a sudden, you know, and again, because we're all human, all of a sudden, you know, we don't exercise, or we quit eating well, and we know how good we feel when we put all that together, and it's an amazing thing. It's awesome. But all of a sudden, things are going well, and we stop. And that's going back to what's going on in our heads. What kind of conversations are we having? Because they don't have to be things that are out loud. These are things that we're internally processing all the time. And it's really important to make changes to that system, because just because you've been a certain way all your life, or you grew up a certain way, that doesn't define you. You can decide right now, who is it that you want to be? Maybe you were always quiet and shy, and you know, you get up today and say, you know what, screw that, I'm done with that. I want to be more outgoing, so I'm going to be. What's the worst thing that can happen to me if I start up a conversation with somebody I don't know? Maybe they don't talk to me. So they don't talk to me. So what's the worst thing that happens if somebody doesn't talk to me? You know, I don't grow a fourth arm and leg, and, you know, like, nothing happens to you that you can say, you know what, it's okay, they didn't talk to me. Maybe they weren't feeling it. Maybe they were having a bad day. You know, maybe they are really just a bitch. Whatever the reason is, you don't need to take it personally. You can put yourself out there and decide who it is that you want to be. You don't need to be in this little box. You know, we always talk about breaking out of the box. Like, how about there just isn't? So you decide, you make decisions, and go for it, because it's easier to just say, you know, I tried my hardest, and, you know, I learned a lesson, and I tried again, and guess what? I learned another lesson. How did we learn to ride a bike? How did we learn to walk? How did we learn so many other things that we do in our life? You know, we've tried. And you can look at the kids and say, oh, well, you know, they're kids. They fell off the bike. It's okay. And I mean, now, yes, if I fell off my bike, I would likely break 7 bones. But you can sit and live in that fear of what may happen in the future, or you can just say, you know what, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, doggone it, people like me. And that's Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. So Sherilyn, what would you recommend then, if you could recommend one personal development source, book, podcast, whatever, to help you overcome that fear, that generalized fear of just starting something fresh and starting something new and to keep trying and not give up? What would that be, would you say?
There's actually a process that's radical honesty. That's what I recommend. And so that is going, like, basically anything that we're doing and that we're really kind of holding ourselves back from, where we're looking for approval from others. You know, that's often a big thing that holds us back, is the acceptance of others. It's not even a fear, really. It's that we want approval. We feel that we're needing approval. We also tend to, what's the other one? Pardon my French.
That sounds like English to me.
No.
I think a lot of our new coaches really struggle with that. They just have a very hard time because they want everyone to accept this new thing that they're doing, and that they are so nervous that whatever they put out there isn't going to be liked by people and might even get negative comments or no comments at all. And I think it's holding back a lot of, I think, newer coaches. I think you get to a point, and I think all of us can understand this, where you get to a point where you're like, you know what, this is something that I love and I'm passionate about, and I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks about what I'm doing, because I'm just going to put it out there and it's who I am. But like, not everybody gets to that point. Like, I wasn't like that when I first started. I think that it's a maturation process in your business that eventually you will get to, and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to post this. And I remember feeling so scared when I would post stuff, because I was just so nervous that people wouldn't like it, or that people would be like, all right, enough. And then that's where the like page comes in, where you can just go to town. But I think for newer coaches, it's trying to convince them that what they have to offer to other people is so much greater than this fear that they have. And that if they just broke down that wall, they would be able to impact so many people. And I think it's just getting them to that point is a big struggle.
Well, and yeah, I mean, you basically need to let go of wanting anybody else's approval. And that is a decision anybody can make right now. I mean, you don't need to read 6 books and go to 14 seminars and, drink 14 Shakeologies in a day. You can say, guess what? You know what? I like this, and I don't need your approval to like this. I don't need their approval to like this. This works for me. And because it works for me, it will work for somebody else. And who is that somebody else? And yeah, like, we know you might have to go through like 100 people before you find somebody. But often those 100 people that you went through, you probably don't want to be working with them anyway. There's a reason that connection didn't happen. And if somebody's not ready, I mean, this goes with our sharing versus selling and not having to convince. If somebody's not ready and we're like, you should do this, like, this worked for me, you should do this. Like, I think this would be good for you, you should do this. We don't want them, because you know what? They're going to be like, okay, well, so now I'm forced into it. And I said yes just because she wouldn't get off my case. And they're going to try for like a week, and they're going to be like, well, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. So they're either going to just quit anyway, or they're going to be so in your face with, not making any efforts. And I mean, this even goes for coaching. okay?
Right.
This isn't just clients. This is people that sign on as coaches. And if they don't want to do this, they won't. Whether it's their excuses, there's obviously legitimate reasons too. Say death of a spouse or something, obviously. But anybody who's just really feeling pushed into something, and it's unfortunate though that, sometimes people just don't believe in themselves, because we can see so much potential in people as coaches. We can see so much potential in them as clients. There was probably a time in all of our lives where we had potential at something and we didn't follow through.
I think the other issue with that though too, you're talking about, pushing them into it. A lot of times if you're in that mindset where you're trying to make your sale and you're pushing them, well, then you're also not following up with them after the fact either. So I think that, and I'm speaking from personal experience back when I, was trying to make sales in my first six months to a year, it's amazing to me to look back at how many of my clients could have potentially been my customers if I wasn't so fixated on what it was it could do for me. Because yes, it's a business that all of us are running, and yes, it's beneficial for us, but until you can take it out of what it is for you and make it all about what it is for everybody else is when the real switch happens, I think, with the whole mindset thing. And I think that's what a lot of new coaches struggle with that personally.
Well, I mean, I would agree, Nicole, but one that I just posted for personal development this month in our group, and Meg and I have already started, is the energy bus. And I know it's simplistic in its form and narration, but it really does say, guess what? You are in charge of your bus. You're always going to have negative people, but you can choose whether or not to have them come onto your bus, right? You and I have been around for a bazillion years, and we know we've met family people that don't necessarily agree with what we do. We have, friends that don't. My own sister doesn't follow my page on Facebook.
Mine either.
Okay, so I mean, we have,
Right share.
We have obstacles.
My sister is my first customer.
Good for you. Mine
Lucky.
mine prejudged and didn't want any sales stuff on her timeline, so she does not. I'm not on her timeline.
It's better to not do business with family and best friends anyway.
Well, but
somewhere down the road,
she misses out on all the other stuff I post. I mean, because I really don't post a lot of salesy stuff. But whatever, that's her choice. And one of the great things that I think for new coaches and new team building is the fact that, yes, you're going to have tough days. Yes, you're going to meet objections. But guess what? You ultimately have control over how you perceive things and then what your response is to those. Okay? We all, for whatever reason, everybody here tonight has something in their lives that they're dealing with. Whether it's a family member, a spouse, whatever, a job. I mean, there is something that everybody that is dealing with, whether or not it's on Facebook or not, right? And people have to understand that everybody deals with something, but it's how you want to let it affect you, how you want it to affect you and your spouse, how you want it to affect your business, and ultimately what you want to do with it. You can either internalize it, or you can reflect and say, okay, either A, what was my role in it? Or B, how can I make it better?
Well, and too many people sit back and blame and play victim. And that's where, all of us, I'm sure we've all done that at some point in our lives too. And we always have all those decisions to make. And they're not always easy decisions. But taking responsibility for where you're at, like you said, Kathy, is just, that's it's your responsibility how you even react to your children misbehaving.
You know
Right?
what I call that? I call that, pardon my French, I call that own your shit.
Yeah, definitely. Always. And I mean, we expect, a lot of ourselves often. But we can accept the responsibility and just, it can be okay that we've screwed up royally. Because there's a lesson that we've all learned when that happens. So yes, own it.
Can I add to what you're saying?
Yeah.
2 things that you said that like absolutely have been like something I've dealt with in the past week is one, so you're right, there's not one book or 6 books or one video or whatever, but I've got these video personal development on CD because I drive a lot for my nursing job, and one of them talks about it's guilt driven, like you were saying, like we're guilty if we do well. So if we don't put ourselves out there too much, like Meg was saying, the new coaches, it's hard for them to put themselves out there. That's going to just take time. There's nothing we can tell them today that's going to make it okay because they're still very much dealing with that fear of putting it out there, and then guilty if somebody gets mad. They feel guilty. Oh, they didn't like my post. But we can say now, who cares? Move on. But that's not so easy when you're first starting. So I'm going to look it up because everything you were saying was like exactly what this CD has been saying like for the past week. I'm like, wait, did she just make the CD I've been listening to for this whole week? Because it was like, it's like you can't give them 6 books. You can't give them, it's just going to take time. And then also the other great one, and it hit on what Cheryl Lynn said, is what Amy Silverman said. You invite until they say no, get out of my face. You know what? That just wasn't a right fit for you. And they may sign up with another coach in 2 weeks, and that's fine. Yeah. It was not a fit for you. So that's like Amy Silverman's like, I don't invite every day, but I stay with them and follow up with them. And it may be once a month, but until they tell me to go away.
Right. Or they block you.
Or they block you. And she was even like, fine, done, off my list. Or finally they're like, yeah, sure, I'm in. But I'm going to look up this CD and put it out there because I swear it's everything she just said about like.
Yeah, that's weird. I haven't made any CDs, and
well, you should have. It was on there. But it's so true. It's like we feel guilty if we piss somebody off, and we feel guilty if we do well. And that's all internal stuff that we've dealt with, like you said, in the past, from wherever that came from. Like, it's okay if we do really well. It's okay. It's okay to have a good month. You know what I mean? Like,
that the other part of this is your mindset around money. Mm-hmm. That's a huge one too, because again, this goes from, if you have money doesn't grow on trees, we can't afford that. It goes back to saying we're choosing not to spend our money on. So somebody who's not going to Summit, don't say I can't afford to go. It's, we've chosen to spend our money elsewhere because that's the truth. And then if you're thinking, oh my God, I have needs, we can't meet our needs, I'm broke, I have no money, I'm broke, guess what's going to happen to you? You're going like down, and not just your money, because then it's going to be relationship issues. And there's it snowballs and all these things work together. So mindset really is kind of like the center of this ball that holds us together. And we all know that we have, at many times in our lives, we're like falling apart like crazy. But what's going to hold you together? So when, your marriage is kind of like on the rocks, okay, mindset, keep it together. Not doing well financially, keep the mindset together. Oh my God, the kids, we could kill them all more than once. Keep it together. All these things, it's all part of all of our lives. And the thing is that we're all going to go through it. It's the roller coaster ride. We're having the ups and downs and the freaky little curves and the areas that are really black. But there's nothing there, there's no one thing to tell people to say, okay, do this, you're going to make it better. Because what works for me doesn't necessarily work for you. I didn't live your life. You didn't live mine. Maybe I had a good experience with something, but somebody else had a bad experience. And So to say like, well, this is just how you get through it, it's all very individual.
And I think, oh, sorry, go ahead, Cher.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying too, what Lindsay had mentioned, and I don't know where she went. She's still here. She's still here, but she's muted, I think. What can we do for these new coaches that are scared and hey babe and fearful is for all of us to keep doing what we're doing, to keep posting, to keep putting ourselves out there, to keep telling the scary stories or the fearful stories or the why that makes you cry, like to keep posting that stuff. That's our job, to inspire these guys that we're doing it and it's okay. And we are able to just get that strength to continue to do that because we've built that maturation point where we don't really care what anybody else thinks. And so that's what we need to all do as leaders is we need to keep modeling those behaviors. And then about mindset, I don't know, I'm sure I told you guys this story before. I can't remember, but it's about Erin Sinar. And I remember she was 1 month away from hitting her 24th month of Success Club, and it was Halloween, and I remember she was like SC2 or something. And Erin, the thing about Erin that I love is that she just kind of does things, and she doesn't really have she doesn't put a lot of pressure on herself, whereas with me, like I'm very regimented and I like to get things done and I like schedules, and she's pretty much the opposite, and that's why we work really well together because we kind of, we're yin and yang. But anyway, it's literally Halloween and I'm trick-or-treating and I'm texting her, status report, what's going on? You know, did you get your SC? Like I'm checking in on her every 2 seconds. And she, the whole day, she's like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get 5. I'm going to get 10. I'm going to get this. And she could have given up and she could be like, you know what? It's the 31st. It's Halloween. I got to go trick-or-treating with my kids. You know, I got 5 kids. And just forget it. It's just not going to happen for me. Literally 1 month into what? Success Club All-Star or Legend. What is it? Yeah, Legend. But she didn't. She kept this mindset of, I'm going to get it, and she did. And that's the point, because I think that 95% of us would have been like, okay, it's just not in the cards for me. I don't think it's going to happen. It's, you know, I'm down to the wire. But she pulled it off because she purely had that mindset. And after she did that, I've always had the utmost respect for her, but that really just topped it off, because that's proof that mindset can do it. If you have the mindset, your brain will work out a way to make it happen and will help you to focus on that goal. If you automatically say, no, it's not going to happen, you won't get it, you know, because your mind's already given up and it won't figure out a way. So that's just a little mindset thing, but I just thought
I feel like that was personal. That was a little bit personal.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
You know, I just posted on the Diamond training. I was like, okay, it's clearly not going to happen, but.
I didn't see that. When did you do that?
I just posted. I was like, okay, clearly I'm not going to hit Diamond. It was just funny because I'm like.
Well, that right there, you better get rid of that because that's not true.
It's so true. It's so true.
But
We still have another day, right?
yeah, there's still time, number one. And number two, it's not what I think pressures a lot of the coaches that are doing the Diamond training. And I can say this because it did for me too. I was so focused on, I have to have that rank and I have to have it by that day because I want to have the, you know, part of the pot and blah, blah, blah. Forgetting that the work leading up to that it trained you to do and where you are compared to where you were before you started the training, I think is what the ultimate end result is supposed to be. If you don't get Diamond, you don't get Diamond, but where are you? How close are you? What have you learned? That kind of thing. I did the same thing, and I'm actually learning a lot from that training myself because there's some things that I did differently last time that I did the training that I do way differently now. And it is a mindset thing. Of course, we want to see everybody get Diamond, but at the end of the day, what we really want to see is everybody move their business and really set up a good, consistent foundation.
But
Victoria is proof of that. Victoria, your business took off last month. You hit SC13, which that was amazing. I mean, right then and there, you just got a system and you went with it. That was amazing. What can you say you did differently this month than last month or the month before?
I just followed the post, the instructions on the post, and just followed what you guys said to do.
Wow.
But yeah, it worked, definitely.
But do you find that, so Victoria, hi, Lindsay, hi.
Hi.
How long have you been a coach?
Since December.
So, okay, so fairly new. So Meg and Nicole and Sherilyn, all the veterans, do you feel like maybe, like, I feel like I get so caught up in it. I get so caught up in I mean, ultimately, yes, I just want to help people. Really, I mean, I think that's what we all really want to do deep down. But there's also this nagging, got to hit SC. Whereas like Victoria's like, I'm just doing what, she's just naturally doing, and it's working. And she's just
Yeah, it's
naturally
working.
doing what we should all be doing, and it's working so well for her. So it's like, how do I get away from that?
Moving back into the mind of a child, you need to look at it, like seriously, look at how a kid plays. Woohoo! Freaking empty box. This is awesome. I've got, a turtle shell. I've got a house to live in. I've got a castle. I've got, whatever. Really, it's about just allowing yourself to release that pressure. So
Yeah.
What if you didn't hit SC5?
Well, I don't get an apron. That's what happens.
Yeah. Well, I'll mail you a freaking
Lindsay, you know the story of women who try to get pregnant and pregnant and pregnant and pregnant and pregnant and can't. And then the minute they stop trying because they're not stressed out about it, they get pregnant. How many times have you heard of that? I know I have in healthcare. It happens. We just have to, and I'm extremely uptight. So for me to just say, okay, I'm just going to let the dust settle and I'm just going to let what happens happens. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing every day consistently. That's the thing. The secret sauce, guys, is consistency. If that's the one thing that I've learned is that you do it, you post it every day, you talk about it every day, you share every day, you're in your groups every day. You be a constant presence and it will level out.
Yeah.
Who did the video?
For me, last month.
Who did the video that we recently shared? I guess it was like a month and a half ago, where she talked about the only thing she did was the program. Do you remember who that was? It's in one of the videos where all she did was commit to doing the program from start to finish and post about it every single day. Lindsay, that's the only thing I did different starting in January.
Yeah.
I committed to hammer and chisel. I videotaped my sorry self doing it every single day, put a little fluff to a video, and I posted the video every day. And my business moved like you wouldn't believe. Now, on the flip side of that, I took a 2-week break, tried hardcore, and I hated it. Meanwhile, I have a group who finishes this week that did hardcore, and I have not been consistent with working out every day since I finished hammer and chisel. And guess what? My business is paying for it.
Yeah.
Everybody is different. What attracts to you and what attracts to me is going to be different. But for me, when I was posting every single day, day in and day out, just that I worked out gave me tons of traction. So now I'm trying to get back into it. If it means I have to dance to work out, and then I'll dance, because at least then I'm still sweating. But I mean, that's what I'm doing, and it's on sale this month, so I figured why not switch it up a little bit and try to do that. So
yeah,
I mean, take all that other stuff just out of your head.
Yeah,
just take it out.
Yep.
I'm fixated on that, especially right now, because now we're down to, well, we've always been on one income, but we were getting 2 paychecks for like the last 2 months. And now we're down to the 1 paycheck, and it's less than what we were getting. So I get the whole fixation thing. I'm trying not to think about, oh my gosh, I have to have this much money every month, which means I got to help this many people. And I got to make sure that I'm working out, because if I'm not, then I'm going to feel like crap and I'm going to fall to the wayside. My whole business is going to go shit.
But I think it's a fine balance. I think it's okay to have that in your mind. I think that's part of your why. So I think that's okay to think about, but it's not I guess it's when it becomes just an obsession or a fixation, then that's when it becomes more of a hindrance than a help. And I think that, all of us have our own why. And I think you can have 5 or 10 different whys all at the same time. But if it's a financial thing, I think that focusing on the financial stuff, because everybody, guys, all of us know that this business isn't something that you make 6 figures in 2 months. This takes years and years to grow a network, to grow a family, to grow a team. And so it just takes time to build. And because this business is built on relationships, it's like dating. You can't just go ahead and rush. You've got to take it slow and get to know people and build your empire and work with like-minded women or men, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where I think there's just a fine balance in it.
There is definitely a fine balance.
Okay, so
I think that's where I want.
in the You guys do Law of Attraction?
That's a book, isn't it? Isn't there a book for that?
It's a process to do the laws of attraction, and daily affirmations. And if nobody's doing these, you need to start now.
Well, I don't know about the laws of attraction, but the daily affirmations, I have an aunt that's like huge into daily affirmations, and she's always telling me, when you wake up, this is what you say.
Yeah.
Every single morning, no matter what. And she has like a list of them, she says, every day.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
So-
they need to change based on what you need.
Yep.
When you're having a rough time, it's a lot about loving yourself, accepting yourself. That, if you've done Beast, you're stretching at the end of the one. He's like, I am a winner. I am a beast. Okay. Those are mine. I'm like, well, see, I'm in like full beast mode. I can't get more beastie than this. But daily affirmations, super important, and out loud even. I mean,
Yeah.
to yourself in the bathroom mirror. Maybe you need to do it in the car where there's nobody around, whatever. But those spoken words that you speak and also hear, okay, that's that's two different ways you're getting that message.
I think hearing it's really important too. I agree.
Saying it out loud versus just reading it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
You'll be having a moment where you're like not sure, and you kind of talk yourself through it, talk it out loud, talk it to a friend. When you're talking to a friend and you're saying all these things out loud, it's suddenly real. That's what you can do with your affirmations. But law of attraction is really important for, again, bringing into your life what you're putting out there. It's kind of a spirituality thing, a vibrational thing. Spirituality not meaning religion. I mean, this isn't, some people can connect this to God, but it doesn't necessarily need to be. It depends on a preference. But it's putting out, it's the karma, right? What you're putting out there is coming back to you. If you're looking for sales of challenge packs, you're not going to find sales of challenge packs. When you're looking for helping somebody improve their life with these products that we know can help them, then things start rolling. But visualizing, I did this recently. I was on a webinar. It was on March 31st, which was my granny's 94th birthday. And we had to go to the long-term care facility where she lives for her little birthday party. And I had a webinar for health coaching at the same night. So I managed to convince Mom that we were going to have Granny's party half an hour later so I could attend part of this webinar. On this webinar she was giving away, it was like it was a health coaching program, which I knew could help me with detox system and weight loss system, all these things that are tools for me in my new health coaching business. Anyway, so I went on the webinar, and I had to post why I deserved it. And so I was posting because my daughter has celiac, a whole bunch of different allergies. My husband, he needs to go for an MRI of his liver. Not sure what's going on with it. So, I mean, we've got some things going on where my family can use this detox, like, severely. So I put that out there saying, yes, this is why I'm deserving. Plus I can help clients, and plus it would help me grow my business and be, have financial freedoms, blah, blah, blah. So from that moment on, I visualized that I got a notification on Facebook. There's a notification popped up. I click on it. I open it up. She's congratulating me for being the person chosen to win this package and the Kindle Fire that went with it, which I didn't even know what it was, but I'm like, oh, a Kindle Fire, cool. So I was visualizing morning and night. I could see all of this playing out. A week later, that's what happened.
Wow. Yeah, I think visualizing, wasn't there a wake-up call with, was it Miguel Carrasco? I can't remember which one it was, but he talked about visualizing himself up on the stage with the elites and all this stuff, and like every single day he saw it in his mind, and then it came,
You hear, like, I mean, I'm visualizing Dominican, and I mean, I can see, like, Meg, I know what you're wearing. I know what Nicole is wearing. And
yellow pants!
Kathy comes running over. Like, I mean, I'm seeing everyone that
Hopefully, I'm wearing a sexy bikini
you are. And
with abs like Meg.
well, Meg,
I'll be right next to you.
which is she's not here now with us, but I mean, no, she was
Yeah,
coming
right. With
boobalicious.
nice boobs.
Yeah, she was all boobalicious, and so was Aaron. And I mean, but I can see it. I can feel the sand between my toes and how hot it is. I can feel the breeze coming off the ocean. I see everybody. I see our kids off. The boys are throwing a football around on the beach. The husbands are hanging out because the wives are so freaking annoying. I mean, I see all of these things. And when it happens, it'll be like, wow, that was cool. So
Yeah.
really just, I mean, that's putting an intention. And then if you're doing this right before bed, what's playing in your mind, I mean, when you first fall asleep, you know, your mind is sorting through all of the stuff from the day. It needs to sort out everything that happened in the daytime. But that's sitting in there too, that it's preparing you for those events, whatever they are. So, I mean, if it's SC5, you're opening your Coach Online office and it says Success Club and you're like, you know, SC5 qualified. Yes. I mean, you're making it happen because that's what you want, and you're putting it out there to the universe, not saying I'm greedy, but I'm deserving.
Right.
It's powerful stuff. I
It
mean,
is powerful.
because the people that get a lot of these, you know, if you're listening to Gary Vee, I mean, it's the hard work that people are doing and their heart and soul they're putting into things. It has nothing to do with necessarily education levels or you know, income growing up. We can control a lot of stuff in our lives.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, that was a really good talk. It's been almost an hour. Does anybody have anything else they want to ask or share? It doesn't have to be anything like this related. It could be any specific questions or comments, anything? No? All right. Well, I'm going to stop recording right now.